Let's take a look at these polls we got that are coming out now. So everybody expected that after Donald Trump survived an assassination attempt, his polls were going to jump. However, we started to see some news reporting that no, he's not improving. We see 538 predicting Biden is still the favorite to win in the simulations, but it's unfair because these polls need to give people time to absorb the story. So we're not just going to be looking at polls from the 13th. I knew a ton of people on the 13th who didn't even know that this happened to Donald Trump. They were playing games, they were eating dinner, they had no idea what was going on. People on Sunday, I saw people on Sunday who had no idea Trump had just survived. Well, we want to see our polls coming out that have tracked public opinion from Wednesday and Thursday, maybe a little bit of Tuesday. Surprise, surprise, what are we seeing now? CBS News from the 16th to the 18th has Donald Trump up 5 points on Joe Biden. Morning Consult from the 15th to the 17th has Donald Trump up 4 points. Emerson from the 15th to the 16th has Donald Trump up 4 points. And then we have a couple other polls. Reuters has him up 2 from the 15th to the 16th. Forbes has from the 13th to the 15th up 2. I don't think 13th to the 15th is a fair date because that is the day of the assassination attempt. And the next day, still, many people need to hear the news, which the peak news day is going to be Wednesday. Now we are seeing Donald Trump take a decisive lead. This is already after Joe Biden failed the debate. He was already doing bad. This is exactly what many pollsters were predicting. Frank Luntz said that after this, Trump supporters are going to be Trump voters, and that is the equivalent of a 1 to 2 point poll boost. I was going to say
like
bump,
boop.
and I like boop.
Boop.
Yeah, boop is good.
It's a boop.
Now, think about this. If he's going to get 1 to 2 points additionally, and you've got CBS tracking him 5 points up, so Trump is up 7 points based on that calculation?
Right.
How does he lose? I guess if people don't show up or what?
No, they'd have to steal it. But I'm telling you, we'd have deviations that everybody would go, what do you mean, Donald Trump lost, Ohio or lost, you're not going to see
West
it
Virginia.
happen.
Not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think Biden's going to win West Virginia. I feel confident predicting that, or whoever they put in. Right. I mean, I think part of it is if people don't turn out to vote. That's always the problem with elections, especially if fortunately, if conservatives or Republicans think they have in the bag, they tend to stay home.
And you got to realize what's going to happen, everybody. I got a new thing out. I'm telling everyone to get their mail-in ballot and don't open it when you go to vote on the day you go in. If they say you already voted, you say, no, I haven't. That's a new thing. We'll have its identity theft, which I have a link out there. Lindell.
Clever.
I think it's a great idea.
It is a great idea. That's at lindellplan.com, by the way. I think everyone in the country should do it. And but the other thing that's going to happen is, let's say I'm working for them, and I'm going to say, okay, everyone's worried about all the illegals voting and and all this cheating going on. But what happens is, if you pull your name off those dirty voter rolls, Wisconsin's the worst in the country. There's 7 million names on the voter rolls here in Wisconsin. If everybody voted that could register, as 4.2 million. Why would you have an extra 3 million names? But let's just say that everybody goes out and votes or whatever and does everything that you're supposed to do. If you grab that mail-in ballot and you get there and they deny it, but too big to rig, the president's calling it. What's going to happen is, if they go to steal this, they're going to have to, it's like a teeter-totter. You're adding votes to this side, right? I don't care where it comes from, mail-in boxes, whatever. Every state would be like Pennsylvania, where they had more votes than voters. I just got in an argument with the CNN at the convention here 2 days ago. They were shadowing me. I let Washington Post, CNN, and the New York Times shadow me for 3 days. I loved it. Right? It was, I really did. They came out with a great article too, by the way. But I said, you guys, I said, man, Pennsylvania didn't have more votes than voters. I said, yeah, look it up. Yeah, they did. That even made the news, and they certified. So
that's why Texas sued, right?
Yeah, and that's exactly why they did. So but they didn't have standing. Remember,
right.
No standing. We learned all these names, standing and sanctions. I asked for a voting machine in my cases, and you know what? The judge sanctioned me $23,000 just for asking. How dare you ask for evidence?
We've got this. This is actually pretty big news. In Virginia, the Real Clear Politics average has Donald Trump winning. And so this is fascinating because the previous aggregate has Virginia as, this is a likely Democrat, not even lean Democrat. The Real Clear Politics average now has Virginia going Republican. Arizona and Nevada already are. Pennsylvania now, he's up 5 points. I think we've got this in 7. He's up in 7 swing states. I think we have, let me try and find, here we go, a 5-point lead in Pennsylvania after the assassination attempt. So At this point, Trump no longer even needs Wisconsin or Michigan to win.
That is wild.
He's going to win them anyway.
Minnesota red there, please.
Let's be real. Take a look. Minnesota is only leaning Democrat. Right. If the internal polls that got leaked are true, then Biden is absolutely sinking.
There we go.
So that would mean New Hampshire. That would put New Hampshire and Nebraska fully red. And even CNN made that assessment. Now, of course, without
New Hampshire,
CNN made the assessment that New Hampshire will likely go to Donald Trump. And they predicted this map, 330 electoral votes for Donald Trump as of the polling and the standing right now. If we believe that the internals are as bad as they say, if we add the assassination attempt boosting Trump's polls, the voter turnout boost, as well as Joe Biden's debate failure, Minnesota could very well be leaning Republican right now as well. Mm-hmm. We could be looking at a 340 electoral count scenario for Donald Trump. However, because I just said that, and now everyone thinks they're going to win, they don't show up, and Democrats win 500 electoral votes.
I hope the down ticket candidates are really able to use the forward momentum that we have right now with Trump to boost their elections. Because, if and I hope he does, if President Trump wins the White House in November, it would be a shame if we don't send him in with a Congress and a Senate that can support his legislation, right? I think there is I think we put our eyes on Donald Trump, and I think that's wonderful, but we have to remember what happens down ticket.
Right.
If we don't continue to work on the houses, give perhaps a wider majority there, and if we don't have more power in the Senate, it's just going to inhibit potentially anything that could start to shift the country in a direction. I mean, for me, the big question is illegal immigration, right? We need a Congress that will support efforts to restrict illegal immigration.
That's exactly right, and it all comes from our elections. And what has our great real president said at his rallies? He says, when I get in, he says three things, and I'm gonna tell you what they are, and you tell me, I'll tell you what gets the biggest applause. When I get in, I'm going to drill, baby, drill. I'm going to build that wall, and I'm going to get us to same-day voting, paper ballots, hand counting. The third one gets the biggest applause. We have the worst election platforms in the world. Many countries, I believe it's 17, I'll have Alan Duke fact-check this, 17 countries that have outlawed computers in their elections. Many other countries have outlawed early voting and mail-in voting. We have the worst election platforms because of the virus that we got. It made all these illegal things that were put in, that the Secretary of State's put into all these states, that now they became the status quo. And that's what we've been fighting in every state. So once we get in, that's why it's so important. I told our real president, we were talking, I said, you say this, I've been fighting for same-day voting and all this stuff and paper ballots and counting for 3.5 years. By the way, the RNC, I want to say that the RNC a year ago put out a resolution, same-day voting, paper ballots, hand-counted, signature ID at precinct level. That's a perfect world if we can get there, okay? So I told our real president, I said, you're going to need all the people behind you, including, like you say, Congress, the Senate. You need all them behind, but plus all of us as people. And that's why that plan for everybody to grab their mail-in ballot. And when you get there, can you imagine in your county, you hear of 10 people that went to vote? Did you hear Joe and Amy? They went to vote and they said they already voted. They had their ballot. And if you get this in all 50 states, this is like a campaign thing, like for after the fact. We want everyone in the country. I even want Democrats to go, how do you explain identity theft? It becomes identity theft if somebody takes your credit card or whatever. People can wrap their head around that, where it's hard to imagine what went on in computers and drop boxes and all this. But boy, when it happens to somebody your family member, your neighbor, or someone in your town, this is why we really need this. We need this for after the fact to get to where our election platforms are secure. And the best example to the world, rather than the worst in every single country in the world, we have the worst right now.
Mike, does Donald Trump use a MyPillow?
Yes, he does. He also uses the Giza Dream Sheet. His favorite product is the sheets. Okay. What's the promo code here?
Tim.
That's right.
Tim.
No, he really does. He loves the Giza Dream Sheets.
Mike,
he doesn't sleep much on that pillow, on my pillow, but when he does, it's quality.
I got a question for you. 538 right here says, and this is the latest, I just refreshed this. Yep. Biden wins 52 times out of 100. Trump wins 48 times out of 100, despite the fact that Democrat leadership has called for him to resign. It's been reported that he's already told campaign officials he's going to be leaving, that many prominent Democrats are saying he will be stepping down. Of course, he is denying it. I'm wondering, with all of the swing state polls, with CNN saying he's at 330 electoral votes, in what reality is 538 predicting a 52% chance Biden wins?
Inside information?
Right?
It's the Biden campaign being like, keep those numbers up. We're not leaving.
Or it's the shadow campaign?
I don't know. I mean, I think there is this internal, there's a breakup between the Democratic Party, the Democratic National Committee, and the mainstream media right now, because mainstream media is putting out some numbers that the Biden campaign, like people in the Biden campaign who want him to stay in because they want more time in the White House, will say, look, we can win, right? 538 says we can win. And then there are all kinds of top Democrats who the media wants to have a positive relationship with, who are going to say, stop doing this. We need him to drop out. Thanks for watching this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to check out the live show Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. on this channel. Subscribe and we'll see you all there.